Welcome back. Mr. Shoma, you were saying something before we went on that break.
Yes, I was saying that it is so bad, not the way we are looking at it. As far back as when we were in the university, a professor once told us that, look, forget all this law. The way it is going now, if you cannot employ a lawyer that knows the law, employ ones that knows the judge. And so what lawyers do,
what an embarrassment.
They strive to know the law and the judge. In some cases, your client will tell you, okay, this is how much we collect. How about the judge? Is there, do you think we need to see the judge also? Yes.
So in all of this, are you saying even the people, and when I said the people, the executive and everyone that has need for judiciary, are we not also compromising?
Yes, you see, when a system, that's why let me give you let me give you an example with the visa system. There was a time in this country where if you have an American visa, some people would transplant passports. But they know that people were transplanting.
What do you mean by that?
Yes, there were times when in this country
change the
pictures. And so
transplant.
Yes, you transplant passports. And so passports with chips were introduced. So it becomes difficult for you to transplant. Visas with biometrics were introduced. So it became difficult for people to steal your passport.
Impossible.
And so that's how a system, look for ways, sustainable ways of checkmating crime. If you use this kick and follow approach, at the end of the day, you're going to go around in a circle. The people know that justice can be bought, including the way we appoint senior advocates, the way we appoint judges. And so the people understand, in some cases, you look at the case is so obvious, but it gets to court, it is something else.
It becomes difficult.
Yes, it becomes difficult. And so what you now need to do, those saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that the disciplinary measures are consistently in tune with modern reality, you look at the people, you find out, okay, is there a problem here? How do we ensure that these people are up and doing, are in tune with modern day reality? It's either you expand the scope or you expand the rules. But in a situation where you sit down and you sit back and say, oh, the system is corrupt, and so I need to break down the sledgehammer.
You have said that there are rules.
Yes.
Implementation
is a problem.
Is a problem.
Yes.
So how can this implementation be done?
Yes, let me give you an instance. Do you know that every judge will tell you that it is not my fault that cases are delayed? Lawyers are the problem. Lawyers will tell you the judges are the problem. But then you go to a typical federal high court and look at the cost list for the day. In some cases, you see about 15 cases, 20 cases. In Lagos State High Court, you see up to about 40 cases a day. Tell me, if the that judge is a machine, he cannot deal with more than 10 successfully for that day. So what it means is that there's a lacuna, there are shortfalls. How do we expand the scope to ensure that we have more hands to do this job? And in Lagos State also, there is a model already.
As long as the judge is writing long hands
also,
he ain't going to get too far.
Exactly. And in Lagos State, what happened, they discover also that you find cases where a judge is trying both criminal matters, commercial, civil, probate. And so, because it will take constitutional amendment to create special courts, what did they do? They create special courts by segmenting the courts. So you have criminal division, you have commercial divisions, you have probate divisions, and the judges are rotated. And so if you have a probate matter, you know that, okay, there are 5 probate judges, so the matter will be assigned to any of these judges. And then also the way cases are assigned, the chief judge assigns, or the admin judge will assign. But these days we do raffles. Why can't cases be assigned through raffles? So that you don't know which judge the matter is going to.
Yes.
Let me go to Mr. Showme. Twitter, on our Twitter handle, Iponwosa is saying that whistleblowing mechanisms must be created and strengthened within the judicial system. Do you think this will work?
Yes, it will work. The problem we have is the rules. do you have consistency in enforcing the rules that we have, even currently, across the board? It does not matter whether a judge is seen to be friendly to government or is seen to be against government. The issues should be, have you committed an infraction? We need to agree, do we need to, once an allegation is made against a judge, do we need to have that judge to step down so that to avoid the issue of double standard? Because currently what we have is that we have 7 judges asked to step aside. We have another judge, Justice Danladi Umar, chairman of CCT, who is allowed to continue to sit, you know, because the subject matter seems, you know, to please the public. That should not be the case. When it comes to judiciary, it's based on the rule of law, it's based on evidence. It does not operate just on what I think.
Sorry,
so if we're going to...
What Biodun is saying, people should understand that prosecution starts from investigation. If your investigation is wishy-washy, the law says you must prove beyond reasonable doubt. Yeah. And what it means is that if there is any doubt in the mind of the court, it should be resolved in favor of the accused. And so, it is like the law will say, it is better for 99 accused persons to go free than one innocent man to go for jail for an offense he didn't commit. And so, in investigation, if your investigation needs to be thorough, there are methods of even obtaining evidence. And that's why, when they say you made a confessional statement, it must be voluntary. And if I've been interrogated by British police. In interrogating me, he kept telling me, you care for a cup of coffee, are you okay? Are you sure? Okay? When I was sweating, he said, no, calm down, just calm down, he started chatting with me. But here, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act now, because one of the major problems of prosecuting criminal cases is, when you're now tendering evidence, the man says, no, I didn't make this statement voluntary. I was tortured psychologically, I was kept in a room for 10 days, and they will come, they say, you're not ready to talk, don't worry. You know, so we need to look at these processes. And then you now conduct a trial within trial. That further delays the process of prosecution. And then also the lawyers that are delaying prosecution, who is disciplining them? If the state is prosecuting a matter in the UK, for example, and you know that with overwhelming evidence, you still want to bring in all kind of frivolous application, your license is threatened. But here,
we got to wind up now. So in closing, Mr. Sharma, if an accusing finger has been pointed at a judge, or he has been arrested, should he step aside while investigations are going on? Is it are we talking morality, or what are we talking about?
You see, that's why you need to allow the NJC to deal with these processes. It's just like you're accusing a judge of bias in open court, or likelihood of being biased. What the judge would do is to excuse himself from that matter. That's the practice.
So the judge himself should be the one to step forward and say,
since you have accused me, any step I take in this matter now
will be viewed
from this perspective. So if you remember Al-Mustafa's case, Justice Shegu, Lagos State Chief Judge, was handling the matter, and the defense lawyer, Mike Okoye, said, my lord, I would kindly create the judges of the court to permit my client, the accused, to sit down. He said, I won't allow criminals sit in my court. And the lawyer said, by calling the accused persons criminal, it means you have to judge them.
Yes.
So I will gladly, urge you to excuse yourself from the matter. And he did. And so, when there are allegations of corruption against judges, what the NJC usually do in some cases is to ask those judges to go on suspension pending investigation. But what Biodun is saying is, if you now bring down the hammer once on them without investigation, what you have done, you have prejudged them. And in that case, no sane society will still allow them sit on the bench to judge both criminal and civil matters when there is already allegations against them. That's the way you build society. So, if we truly want to build our society on rule of law, sustainable rule of law, we should ensure that we follow the processes of the law and ensure